Bars in a rave, man, I go hard like Santan.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Kop End Fracas, part of the Touchline Fracas network. I am your host, Krish, and today I am joined by, actually, it's making their video debuts on the now YouTube channel that we have, of course, as you can see us right now. I'm going to do a little bit of a wave, like a turd. I am joined by Fahi.
Hi, how you doing? You know, I look really bad on camera, so I'm really not a fan of us being on camera, but I'll you know, like.
Well, this is the thing, because I remember when we started doing it, Elle literally messaged me about 10 minutes before, and he's like, my camera's not working, could you do it instead? And I don't know why, I made the mistake of shaving that day. So it was like Kop End Fracas featuring a 12-year-old in there. So,
Bro, it's a bit mad, and like, you know, this is the worst time to kind of go on video. I've not had a trim in 3 months, so
it's mad, man.
It's peak, but you know, we do it for our fans, we do it for our listeners.
Exactly, for the love of the game. That's why we do it. Also making his video debut, I have the general, the chief himself, Ellis.
What's going on, man? How are you?
How are you doing, sir?
I'm well, sir. I'm well. I need a haircut, like Far, said. And I had one in 3 months, so it's all mad out here, man. But yeah, I'm well.
Come July, we'll all be back in the barbershop chair.
Do you know what it is? I don't know, man. I don't know, because like your barber's been out of action for a few months, and his hands are shaky.
Right away.
You know what I mean? You got to wait. You might just mess up your hairline and all that. So
true. You don't want to be, you don't want to sport in the 2002 Ronaldo haircut.
You know what I mean?
First day out. It's not what you want, is it? Really?
Nah, it's not really. No.
Of course, I'm also joined by Joe. The
How you guys doing?
here. The champ is here.
Yeah,
I'm good, mate. How are you? You look.
You know what? It's we're here now, and then we're ready to do battle. So, let's just get straight to it.
What kind of war cry was that?
Braveheart himself there, you know.
Well, what I really wanted to say, I can't say because my kid's like 2 doors away, and what I don't want is for it to be repeated later on. So,
true. It's popping downstairs like, "Mommy, why is Daddy recording a war dub in the room 2 doors down?" Last but not least, joined by us in his magnificent garden, we have Anik.
How's it going, Chris? You alright?
I'm good, thanks, mate. How about you?
Yeah. Another day in paradise. That's what I like to call it. Null and void army, keeping quiet. So that's always good.
Mate,
and,
they've gone back into hiding now because they know it's inevitable.
Exactly.
Apart from fancy football, where null and void should be
You wish.
And I've literally only said that just to antagonise Fahi himself. So, speaking of antagonising, this has been the hot topic since, God, when was this news released? Was it Friday, Saturday? I don't know what days are anymore. So
yeah, but I feel like Thursday or something.
Last Thursday.
Was it that long ago? Is that how long we've been arguing this point for? In
Literally.
Yeah, we've been arguing every day.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, mainly it's been Joel shouting at himself and Far chipping in.
and then Mark being like, "Why are you doing this? What is making telling you to do this?"
Hold on. Ellis, you just move closer to the screen. It's something. I think you got something on your nose. I'm just trying to figure out what it is.
Okay, man.
Never mind. It was browner. It's browner than usual. Never mind.
Oh
God, the company men versus the renegades, as it were.
wow.
So yeah, let's talk about it then. We've had conversations with Bundesliga experts in the past few weeks, talking about signing specific players from that league. One of them in particular was Timo Werner of RB Leipzig. It's a player that a few of us have been advocating for, not me. So I have no horse in this battle, so I'm all good, man.
Nasty guy.
If the other guy goes to Chelsea, though, I will probably kill myself. So there's that. But yeah, it's a guy that we've been, I think, loudly confident in saying that we're going to secure. We've done a lot of talking about it being a bargain fee and whatnot. And then the news comes out on Thursday that Chelsea have somehow come to the front of the queue, willing to pay all the money up front for I believe is a £50 million release clause, which is about 55 million euros for Timo Werner, and that looks more than likely to go through as the release clause only has about another week on it to be activated. So let's get into the nuts and bolts of it. The main reason that we apparently haven't sanctioned or made this transfer yet is due to a lack. I'll put quotation marks on. If you're on video, you can see me doing the air quotations. A lack of funds. So, who wants to kick us off with this conversation then? So, Fahi, do you want to go first?
I mean, I think I should go after
the company man.
After the company man and after Joe, because I feel as if I'm going to try and bring a bit of realization to the topic.
Okay.
In a sense, hopefully. I don't know. It depends on what Joe ends up actually saying.
So, I've got some good stats actually. You know what? Let me quickly pull this up, and it's gone off my feed. But El, you kick us off with the conversation. So obviously, it's been a bit of a hot, as we said, it's been a hot topic for us in the group. Again, I think we've all kind of had the notion that we need to sign probably
a forward,
and probably about 2 or 3 players.
Not
in
a
general.
forward, a striker, because we have forwards. A striker,
we
a
need
number 9, a real striker, a goal getter, someone who's going to go take their chances and score goals, score more than 15 or 10 Premier League goals. Someone who's going to score 18, 19, 20 goals a season, and not someone who's going to score 15 collectively all across the board during the season. So a striker, don't say forward because that leaves up for interpretation. We're saying an actual striker, someone who's going to sniff out the goals, who's going to put them away, especially when chances on goal are at a premium in those difficult games. So say striker, don't say forward.
The reason why I'm saying forward is because if Mane or Salah somehow are not playing or are injured or whatever, we need someone to take over their pace on the wing and their creativity. So the reason why I say forwards is because we need someone who can play across the front line. And
the reason why I say striker is because where are we going to find a forward, so a wing, someone who can play across the front three, like Mane and Salah does, at that production, or even a snippet of that production? We don't. There's not really too many of them available. So my thing was always been the best bet is always just going out and getting a striker, because their whole being is about getting goals, sniffing out chances, and putting them in the back of the net. Whereas you might need something a little bit different from a forward, where you would expect them to come down, drop deep, and help be some sort of a creative hub in the midfield, where we just need someone to just bang in goals to consolidate the goals that we're going to miss from Mane or Salah. But go ahead. That's just my general thinking.
I agree with that notion as well. I do agree with that. I'm not gonna lie. We do need a striker up front who's a better finisher than Firmino. Firmino is a great player, but he's not the best finisher. So we do need someone who's a prolific finisher. How much do they cost in the market? A lot of money. Do we have a lot of money? No. So Liverpool right now have to play the market very smartly, which is what Mike Edwards, Joe's favourite friend.
How do we not have any money?
Why don't we have any money, Ellis?
How are we broke? I
don't think we're broke. I don't think we've come out and said we're broke. I think the owners have looked at it and looked at how much money we've lost from coronavirus, how much money that has not come in. They've looked at the money they were supposed to get from, let's say, Wilson or Shaqiri. They've looked at clubs that they were going to sell to, and they probably are not going to buy at the price that we want. So don't forget, a lot of whatever we bought is going to be dependent on sales. So regardless of what we've done in the last financial year, that's probably used however the club owners have used it. So I don't think we're broke. I just think we're trying to be smart with our money, which is what
I think as well. Like what we're trying to build as a football club, and I think it's been that way for a while, is that self-sustaining model. Correct. Where you don't play outside of your means. And
So
you don't
sell,
rely on that
sell
cash.
to buy is what you mean. So our model has always been that. I mean, we've always wanted that self-sustaining model where we try to sell players off at a profit, but then we also try to make a little bit. We also try to be a little bit more smarter in the transfer market. But how long from where we were before, maybe post Hodgson, post Rodgers, to where we are now, where we're posting all these record-breaking profits and all those sponsorship deals left, right, and center, to where we're champions of Europe, about to be champions of the league, and we're still operating at a sell to buy model.
What's wrong with that?
No,
What's wrong
no,
with that?
but my thing is this: look, when you have a situation like a unique situation where we are right now, where we have and I have to use my words carefully here, we have the opportunity to continue to press our competitors and keep them in that small little box of 20, 30 plus points, just keeping them away from where we are, and then going on to win possible multiple league titles. Sometimes you have moments where sometimes you may have high leverage moments like this where you just have to just go out there and just push the boat a bit. Now, I'm not saying go out and bankrupt the club, but we didn't spend any money over how many windows? And I'm thinking, well, if we're talking about the losses that we've made during Corona, fair, that's an okay point. But to come out as a club and say, because we are under financial constraints, that's the reason why we can't purchase a £50 million player that's pretty much going at a snippet. For me, I need you guys to help me understand where we can keep the pressure on everybody else and it's effectively just stretch away from the rest of the pack. Why is it that every time we get the chance to do that, we never do it? Something always happens. And I don't know if it's something that we can control. I don't know whether it's just the business model, but why do we never grasp the opportunity to just pull away from and be actual pack leaders and just separate ourselves from the rest of the bunch? Why do we always get to that line but then falter at the line and then we're 2 steps back or we take a step back? Why is that?
We've never had Klopp. In all those years, we've never had Klopp. You've never seen a team get 82 points at 30 games played. You've never seen a team get 97 points at 38 games played.
So are you saying that model that way of thinking is sustainable going into next season, when the likelihood is everybody else once again will have taken those? So here's the best way for me to put it. So Liverpool and City were maybe here, and everybody else were here. So maybe a season ago or 2 seasons ago. Right?
You're being very kind, by the way.
I should go. Okay, I'll go. Basically, I just want everyone to be able to see it. So I'll go here. Okay. Yeah. And what happens every season is, right, we're pretty much staying the same. So we have the same core. We don't really change anybody. We just kind of just keep it the same. But then every season, people are improving their team. Okay,
not
just
necessarily.
A little bit, but I mean, if you take into the context of where we are now, where okay, City are I'll say we're like this with City, okay? And by virtue of just pure excellence last season and being lucky with our injuries, we managed to put them to the title. They are going to come back full force. We don't know what's going to happen with their transfer ban. We don't know whether or not they're gonna bust case. But if they do, best believe they're going to spend another 100 mil on a fullback and then go get some attackers. And let's be real, their squad will be like this above us. So for us, it's like, okay, let's keep pace. Let's keep up with it. Let's not stagnate. Let's not stay the same where everybody else is getting better little by little, or our nearest rival, quote unquote, is gonna go ahead and go streets away from us again. And then we have a situation where our players are forward line. They're mature now. I think they're hitting their peak. So Mane and Salah respectively around 28. And Firmino, I think he might be around 27 or 28 himself. And I've always said we need to bring fresh new ideas within that club for us to be able to have that air of being unpredictable. We were
Is that
predictable
not
before,
Minamino?
but we were. Yeah, go ahead.
Is that not Minamino?
Yo, all right, see, I'm pissed off now. You guys go ahead. I'm pissed off.
I'm asking. I'm asking the question.
But the point, the point I'm making is, while everybody will be improving and no doubt be getting making the improvements to the places where they need to.
I get what you mean.
We're pretty much going to be the same. But then, can we really run that risk of saying, okay, we're going to stay with the same group and core, and then perform at that same level the following season when everybody's getting everybody else is improving? That risk, you don't want to mess with that risk, because we have already seen that one injury away having to deal with a Dejan Lovren, or one injury away from us having to have a Divock Origi as our starting center for the foreseeable future, if Bobby's out or if Salah's out, if Mane's out. And we know if Salah is out and Mane is out, our production in front of goal is absolutely done. So when you're coming with that mindset, it's like, okay, why is it that you find yourself now in financial straits when you can literally just pull away from everybody else? With that one signing, pull away from everybody else. Why can't we get that over the line? Why do we always falter?
I get what you mean, Joe. I think in the point of seeing people spend money and pump it into different things. We had this exact same conversation in last summer, why we didn't spend any money, and United were going out buying Maguire. City went out and spent a lot of money again. Arsenal went and spent 70 million on Pepe, and man were complaining, thinking they were going to get better. But it is a difficult one, because I think for this specific summer, and Anik, I'll let you jump in after this as well. I do think we needed an extra player in the front three just to freshen things up a little bit. And when the drop off from the front three is to a Shaqiri level or an Origi level, where the production isn't necessarily there, and one of them doesn't have a functioning scalp, it's like it's like what
right there.
It's like, what's the point there? Go on, Anik. I'll let you jump in, mate.
So I think, it's been 3-4 months now since we haven't played, and I think it is a risk, coming back in and playing all these games in quick succession. Any one of the front three can pick up an injury, and I just think, coming off the back of what you said, Chris, if there is an injury there to our front three, we don't have anyone that can come in and, step up to the level that Mane, Salah and Firmino have. I don't even think we play a 4-3-3, to be honest with you. I think we play a 4-3, Mane, Salah, Firmino. I don't think anyone can come into the front three and do the sort of job that they do. So it just doesn't really make sense to me as to why we haven't got someone in to that level. I think it's going to take time for Minamino to develop, if he can. I think Shaqiri, he's not going to step up. And, to be honest, neither is Origi. So it just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. And I would have expected, especially with the way things have panned out the past couple of years, winning the Champions League, very close to winning the league, all the revenue that's been generated, the new Nike kit deal. You think, look, go out and get some sort of signing to help us. And I think coming on to next season now, as Joe was showing with all the levels, I think at the start of next year, everyone's at the same level. Everyone's got, in theory, the same chance of winning the league. And in terms of looking at the competition, I think we need to look to future-proof our team. And I think our closest rival would probably be City. And, I know they've got all the money in the world, and they've got, number of wingers that can come in and do the job for them. And they've also got 2 centre forwards that can come in and do the job for them. And, there's every chance that, we could go on and win the league. Well, we are more than likely going to go on and win the league this year. But then looking ahead to next season, do we have that future proofing in place? That's my only concern, to be honest.
Okay, so I've got a question for Ellis. At this current moment in time, are you comfortable with us not signing? are you okay with us not signing anyone? Because
No, of course
how
not.
you've communicated the past couple of days, every time we say something, it's always been 25 points.
Yeah,
Or-
but the thing is, it was my point of view was more like everyone was losing their head because we didn't get Werner. That's not to say we're not going to get another forward.
yeah.
Of
Okay,
course
who?
we're going to.
But who?
But-
Okay, so Joe, so
Listen. No, it's all right. Look, let's keep it. Let's be real. Let's be honest, right? Like his name could be, I don't know, whatever name it could be. The point here is at that production, at that level, and the guy was literally. I don't know if you guys have seen the Nelly video, "Flap Your Wings," where the girls are literally just dancing in feathers in front of the guy, trying to basically, bring them in. Timo has been doing that for the last year and a half, probably even 2 years.
Yeah,
And
he was doing that channel You After Dark.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And it's not so much Werner in itself, but it's more the fact that, listen, where are we going to find a player of that sort of production, that sort of elk, for that sort of money anywhere else? Anyone else will say, we want 70 mil, we want 80 mil. We're even being quoted 90 mil for Kai Havertz. And I don't even know, like, I love him to bits, but I don't know if he's going to come up with 20 goals a season. I would like to think maybe he's got the potential to do so. But that's like the next level that we're looking at as far as players.
but
So when you're saying we're going to bring someone in, bro, at this rate, we're probably going to go and get someone like Callum Wilson.
No, we
And I
won't
don't
do.
mind
That's the
that.
thing. But the thing.
Hold on. Listen, but this is where we are. Like
No, Joe.
Doesn't Callum Wilson fit your?
Yeah, go ahead.
Doesn't Callum Wilson fit your 15 goals a season builder?
Yeah, that's what he gets.
But he's never there, and he's gonna cost north of 35
why
mil.
are we discussing?
And it's like, why?
Why are we talking about Callum Wilson?
It's like, but that's what I'm saying. It's like there isn't that quality and that production.
No,
It's
Joe.
not easy to find, and when you do
Joe,
find it, the
exactly, and the person who has to do it gets paid good money to do it. Fam, he's probably got a list of 10.
Who?
I don't know. I'm not a scout.
Are you talking about Michael Edwards? You talking about Michael Edwards?
That's what I'm talking about.
All
so,
right.
fam, he has a job to look for. Let's say, let's for instance, let's just put a number 10 forwards who are quick, who can play on the left or on the right, who can do this X, Y, and Z, who have certain amount of touches in the box. There's a list of them. Yeah,
sure,
these are
we're gonna
players
end up with Memphis to pay. I can.
Fine, he's a good player. I'll take him in. He's a decent player, fam.
Didn't we all say last season that we wouldn't mind him?
Sure, we did.
Yeah, but that was for backup, not to start.
Isn't this what we need though? If we're saying
no.
Point
listen, listen. We have to. Okay, so this will probably be another segment, but I think we need to start looking for the future as in someone who's going to come in and pretty much start adding a production right next to Mane and Salah. Firmino's not going to be able to cut that. So I'm thinking, listen, even if you bring Werner in, and I'm just saying, this could just be anyone who is just available that is of that ilk. You know that they are young and they have the ability to produce at the high level, but then when it's time for us to move away from the way that we play with Firmino, we know that he's gonna be a shoe-in. He will know the system and he'll just come in and start clapping goals straight away. I would like to think we do not think we're gonna proceed in the future and continue to win with Firmino up front. Of course,
Joe, you're thinking very simplistic, innit? Because you're not thinking that the club.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Wait, hold on.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, you're not thinking that the club would want to future-proof the team. I mean, for argument's sake, they did bring in Minamino, who's 24. Yeah,
right.
He's 24. Then they're looking to add more young players from the youth team into the team.
Don't forget, you got Ellis's boy Brewster.
Yeah, you got my boy Brewster, but you look at, but they are looking to bring in players who can take over the front three. So let's keep it a buck, man. They're not gonna sit down and say, oh yeah, we're gonna wait for like Salah, Mane and Firmino to get to like 35. Then think, oh yeah, time to change the front three. That wouldn't make sense, would it?
But you got to look at it in the medium term as well. It's like, okay, the league, more than likely is ours. But with the way our team is, do you think that next year we can go on and challenge the same way?
My argument is we do need a forward, innit? My argument has always been, fam, man are losing their brain cells because of Werner. Obviously, we're going to look to get a forward. Leipzig said they want 50 million up front. 50 million up front. Maybe the club does. We don't have that. Literally, we don't have the 50 million up front. That's what the argument is. It's not that we're not going to get someone. We'll get someone. I don't know who in it. Obviously, I haven't been tasked.
I'm not saying we're not going to get someone. I'm saying for the production and for the ability and for the price. Okay.
Yeah, that means, bro.
I don't know where we're going to get.
If Klopp wanted him, don't you think Klopp would have fought tooth and nail to get him?
If he would have thrown a fit, he would have got him.
You know what I'm saying? If he said no, I want him.
So what you're saying is the buck stops with Klopp as far as this situation for not putting his foot down and saying we need to bring this guy in.
I'm not saying the buck stops with anyone. I'm just saying that we don't have 50 million up front to give to Leipzig. And don't forget, Liverpool have been linked with a couple forwards. They were linked with the Nigerian forward and Lille. Then they were linked with
Osimhen. That's your countryman. He's
a bad boy.
Listen. I like him. I think he's good.
Actually got 18 goals. He fits your criteria very well.
I think he's good. However, Pepe came from Lille. And the last thing I want is for them to turn around and say, listen, we want 60 mil for Osimhen. And then Osimhen comes in, and then we're talking about, he dribbled past Mustafi. So,
listen, bro, at the end of the day, but that's the same thing with Werner.
No. Werner's been doing this for a minute.
Same as Keita. Man, don't forget, Keita came from Germany, and we was like, fam, when he comes in, he's gonna do it.
But you can see, even when whenever you see Keita play,
I can't see nothing.
You know, we can't even. We're not even gonna get into Keita. But my point is this.
That's what I'm saying.
For the production and for the money, I don't know. I don't see where we're gonna get anyone of that production and that quality. I don't see it.
I do agree with the fee part. I think for 50 mil in any market,
it's good. That's good money.
It's good value, and you can see why Chelsea have jumped on it. And to be fair,
of course,
I'm surprised that more clubs didn't jump on it in the first place. And I can see why he's also got cold feet, because he was close to going to Bayern last year. They never knocked on the door, innit? He's always he's always the bridesmaid, never the bride kind of thing.
Is that down to him, or is that down to the fact that
his ears don't
RB Leipzig are like crazy difficult negotiators?
I gotta get these digs in while I can, before we switch up to other topics.
Yeah, obviously I don't know if it's him or if it's Leipzig. I'm not too sure, but all I know is that we ain't got that P to give Leipzig.
I don't think this is the thing. I don't think it's a Leipzig thing, because Joe, you're on last week. We spoke to Chris, and we know that Liverpool, Michael Edwards, your good friend, and whoever the sporting director is for the Red Bull group or Leipzig, they have a really good relationship. So again,
but at the end of the day, business is business.
This is the thing.
If they're saying part of the clause is 50 mil up front, which I understand, because I think it's smart, because they understand. Listen, this kid he's a killer. So if we're going to lose him on the cheap, we might as well get all the money we possibly can up front, and then what that does is it gives us enough time to actually be able to go out and invest in the squad, which makes sense. So yeah. I mean, it's smart form though. However,
that's the thing. That's the point you've made, is if they get 50 mil, if they get all the 50 mil up front, they can then reinvest that how they do in their normal market. Whereas if they were just getting 25 mil from us, they can't. Then they have to do what we're doing in terms of trying to get goals and assists and replicating in players.
Okay, so do you feel that situation, once it got to that point with the expertise extraordinaire of Michael Edwards, that he couldn't have negotiated, he couldn't have sorted it out, he couldn't have brokered the deal?
Yeah, but
he want to break it.
I feel as if we're seeming to forget this was an extraordinary circumstance. Like, the situation itself was unprecedented. Like, no one was expecting this to happen, right? Forget Werner for a second. From January onwards, do you think anyone at the club thought that football would be turned off for 3 months?
You know what I'm saying? No money will come in.
In January, the club were trying to plan a pre-season game in China.
Exactly, yeah. All right. So next point. When you're planning to buy players, you're also thinking about outgoings, right?
Yeah.
We're in June right now, June 9th. Werner's release clause ends on the 15th, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So
is it next? Yeah, I
Next
think
week.
I think is
Yeah.
it next? I think 15th or 16th. Is it next Friday? Whichever one next Friday is.
okay, so between the end of the season and the release clause of Werner's being triggered, there's enough time for us to kind of plan out who's going and where they're going to, right? So we had an idea in our heads that, okay, Xherdan Shaqiri, you are going. Adam
20
Lallana,
million.
you're leaving us. So that's 5 million a year being saved on contract.
Okay.
Nathaniel Klein.
Nathaniel Klein, you're
You're
leaving.
gone.
That's 3
Harry
million
Wilson.
a year on contracts saved
Right.
again. You've got Karius. No one's going to buy him. We're probably going to have to pay people to take him. But ultimately,
Wilhelm Modlin will take him.
someone's going to take him, right? So you're saving a bit of money there. Harry Wilson, who's had a decent season for Bournemouth, first season in the Prem, 7 goals in 25 games, I think. He's going to go for top dollar. Well, that's what we were expecting at the time because he's British, right? So ultimately, we were thinking, okay, so we're going to get rid of Shaq. We're going to get rid of.
And we wanted 20 million for Lovren, but we'll touch on that. Or was it was it 23 million for Lovren or something like that? We'll touch on that. We'll touch on that.
You would have got Lovren, by the way. You would have got that for Lovren. You would have got that for Lovren.
23 million for who was paying 23 million for Lovren?
Roma.
No, that's why they went for Smalling and said that they were going to try to make Smalling's.
They would have paid 23 mil last summer when they wanted him.
That was when he's 29. He's 30 or going to be 30.
We said fam now because we ain't got time to find another centre back, bro.
So ultimately, the point is, we in our heads had planned out X amount of players were going to leave, and we were going to have X amount of money to spend, which in turn means that we can reinvest that into Werner. What's ultimately now happened is the season's been delayed. These players have to stay at the club. We can't get rid of anyone, so we don't actually have the money to trigger Werner's sale. During this, you had the furlough situation, which we obviously had to pull back out of. So we're now having to pay staff members with money that we didn't want to pay them with already. You've then got, what did I want to discuss?
TV deal.
The TV deal, you're going to have a rebate of about 35 million. The Nike deal was supposed to start in June. It's now been delayed till August.
To which we have to pay some money back with that as well.
Exactly. So all these things come into play, and then you're then telling players that you potentially need to take some money away from them for the next couple of months because of the situation we're in. So how can you, Joe, let's say, for example, I'm your boss. I go to you, Joe, I know you've hit 25 goals this season, right? But I need you to take a 15% pay cut for 2 months, yeah? You're like, okay, cool. I get the situation. You're in dire straits. I'm going to take the 15% pay cut. Next week, I sign someone new to sit beside you in the office. How are you going to feel?
Fuck their feelings. Yo,
Yeah.
bleep out. When you get a chance to...
You're telling the whole squad.
Robert Mugabe behaviour is this?
Listen, all right, cool. I fully understand everything you're saying. Like, your logic, I get it. That stream, I'm with it. That wave, I'm with it.
Yeah.
But we are in a position we haven't been for, should we say 30 years? We'll say 30 years. You have to forget about feelings. Like, that air of ruthlessness has to be part of our DNA. If we have now, I understand as far as the money and being in dire straits. I don't know how we're in dire straits. I know we literally we did good the year before. We didn't even spend any money. I think we maybe spent was it 3 mil on that defender? I can't remember his name. That kid, that young
Vandenberg.
Someone like that. But we literally didn't make any expenditures as far as transfers and major outgoings last season. Going into this season as well. So in my head, I'm thinking at least we have money. And it's probably the reason why I was angry then, but not too much now. So
what I'm trying to get is we would have had the money. If the season had played out as normal, with that money that we're having to reinvest into certain things, we would have had that money. That's what I'm trying to get at.
I mean, I get it, but I don't think the amount that you think that we were fixing to raise from those players, we would have got it. Like, I don't know.
Even forget the players for a second. Think about the refunds you're having to give back to season ticket holders for the
remaining. And that's what I'm saying. I understand. I fully get it, and I fully understand.
Why.
It's a situation where the tap is switched off. It is switched off.
Yeah, it is. It is. do you not think? And here's a question that I mean I've been asked from other people as well: is do you not think this deal could have been done months beforehand?
But
As
you're still in the same situation.
No, not as in not literally over the last 3 months. I mean, like once it became very, very obvious that this dude wanted to join us. Why didn't we get the deal sorted like we did with Navigator? Why didn't we get the deal sorted for the following season? Blah blah blah. When we had the opportunity to do so. So what with that question? What is your answer to that?
Because you still in our heads, we played a situation where we're thinking, all right, this bloke has clearly said he wants to come to us. We're going to clearly have the money. We're going to win the league. So there's no need to rush anything. Why are you going to spend money and like commit to something when you don't need to commit to it till the final minute? There's no need, because you have told me, Joe, you're coming to my club. You want to play for me. Cool. You've said it now. Word is bond, yeah? You've basically told me you're going to come to my club as long as I want you.
But this is ball. This is sports / a business per se. So you can't always take someone's word for gospel. How many times has a player said that they wanted to come to Liverpool, ended up in Spurs, ended up in Chelsea, ended up
I think
wherever, like I mean,
and I think for me, that's where the frustration lies. Is that fair enough? Okay, if we can't get him for financial reasons, you know, those revenue streams have all been cut off. But I suppose the most frustrating thing is that, you know, we had a really good player there that fits the bill, and potentially we've lost him to another club. It's not even the fact that he's going to stay at Leipzig for another year. The frustrating thing is that he's going to go to another club and a rival of ours. And that's
clearly,
where,
go ahead.
That is where the frustration comes from. Well, for me.
So I'm playing devil's advocate here. So if someone says, well, if Chelsea can do it, why can't we do it? What would be your response to that?
Because you're gonna find
for 160 million last year, and they sold Morata for 50 million, and that money's getting paid to them this year. So why do you think they can make that money?
You're also going to be in a situation where clubs who've got cash-rich owners can just inject that cash right into the club. So you're going to be in positions where, you know, owners that are oligarchs, you know, owned by fucking nations, they're going to be in a massive advantage. You know what I mean? If this Newcastle deal goes through, they can throw all the money of the wall they fucking want, because it's not coming out of the club's pockets, coming from their owners' pockets. And all the shoddy accounting deals you can do, this is where they really kick in. You know what I mean?
You know, like sell off advertising to your best mate. You know,
I'm really sad. I'm annoyed. I obviously thought that Werner was going to join the club. It is very irritating when he goes to a rival club of yours.
Yeah.
It is very annoying. But I still think we're signing someone, because we need to get rid of these players.
Who?
Wait and see.
No, for me, it's not wait and see. I'm thinking.
The season's not even over yet.
Window's not open yet.
Listen. You guys, and this is not about who's out there. This is now they have come out and said they will not be making any signings. Now, hold on, guys, hold on. Usually I'll be like, that's BS. However, as you guys have said, this is just like the current situation we're in. You might actually have to believe them. If they're saying that, listen, you couldn't get Timo Werner over the line because of financial constraints. Yo, we're not going to spend any money this season. There'll be no guys coming. We'll not be spending any money. Guys won't be coming in. You might have to believe them. Dependent is dependent on player sales.
And plus, dependent on what's going on right now, we can't guarantee Krish, Anik, and Ellis are leaving the club.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why my stance has been, after I calmed down how many days ago, is don't expect any players to come in, because I don't see where we're going to get the 18 mil for Shaqiri. I don't see where we're going to get 20 million for Lovren.
Bro, Newcastle want to pay for Shaqiri, man.
I think what was it, 30 mil for Wilson. Basically slash all that in half, because we're not going to get what we want for these players.
So on that basis, Joe, slash Werner. Since you know that
but that's the point. They don't have to, because they can keep him for another year. You don't want to pay up, cool. We'll keep him for another year, and then he'll go for No, has he got 2 years?
Half the
left?
price.
Was it-
35 mil.
Oh, and then he goes to 30, and they'll still get they'll
But
get.
then that's the
some
situation.
money.
That's the situation where if we get to the window and no one's made a move for it, we can say, okay, cool, we'll take him. We'll pay the 35 mil now.
Yeah,
Here's 10 mil. Here's the deposit. We'll pay the next 25 at the end of the
over
year.
whatever.
But the point,
they weren't for leaving either.
Yeah.
Like again,
Yeah.
he had his move messed up last season with Bayern, and he really wanted to come to us. And then obviously Klopp said that he can't commit to him in April.
And if someone slaps 200k a week on the table for you, you're going to take
Come
it.
on, fam. You got to take him, man. Regardless of how much you want to play with Klopp and that pause.
This is the thing, you know.
You gotta take it, fam.
Bro,
I
you
get that,
you could
but
want to work for Microsoft, innit? But if someone slaps 50k a year in your face for somewhere else,
Off, bro. You got
Yeah,
it.
you're going somewhere else.
Guys, you're missing what I'm trying to say. So what I'm saying is, listen, we understand now that we don't have the money to pay for whoever,
but
Werner.
it's like we said. It's like Ellis said. It's in this current. It's like what Ellis and Vi said. It's in this current situation.
Yeah.
It is dependent on.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, we're gonna be.
We might adjust our forecast again at the end of the season and see
Right.
what money reopens up, and then again we have the opportunity to be kind of like
I mean,
Arsenal. You know, Arsenal in
yeah.
13-14. Ozil didn't become available till like the last week of the transfer window.
Yeah.
So you can have a situation where something like that comes into play again.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, to Fahi's point, don't expect. I've already accepted there won't be anyone coming in. I know things could change and all that other stuff could change, but I think when you go back and you're talking about the hits we've taken financially, I think they might actually just say, we might not win it next season, but at least we know we have enough quality to make top 4, and we're probably not going to bring anybody in.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, man.
So-
And the reason why that's not going to happen is they signed a deal with a sporting clothing manufacturer, where they're not getting paid much up front. The majority of the money is paid on percentage of sales, right? If you're not winning titles, you're not going to be selling merchandise. So if that merchandise deal is supposed to be worth 100 mil a year, but we're only getting paid 40 mil a year, the remaining 60 mil is dependent on your success. So if you then, as a club, decide, okay, we're just happy with top 4, you're not going to reach that 100 mil a year you
know
want.
what I'm saying?
You could also say it's Liverpool. I think we're big enough to where I think just the fact that we've won the title, that success in itself for this year. I think. Listen, I'm not like you, Fahi. I don't know about the industry like that, so I don't know what the optics would be from or projections would be from a sales perspective. But I would like to think with us winning our first title in 30 years, that the merchandise will fly off the shelf.
Yeah, but don't forget, fans are fickle. Human beings are fickle, bro. You can be up top tomorrow, next day you're down. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have that continued success, like Fahi said, fam, people are gonna stop buying your stuff. If Liverpool win, let's say, the next 2 titles, then don't win the next 2 titles, fam. Whoever wins the next 2 titles after that, they're gonna be the in thing. This is how it goes.
It's the expectation that it's the expectation that we've put on the club historically. This year is our year. We're going to transfer title this year.
Yeah.
That level of insanity from where it is normally, that jumps at least 4 levels, because because the guys who were following the club during its glory years in the 70s and 80s, they're going to kind of think, all right, cool, that period's back. Us as not newer fans, but kind of that new era,
New generation,
we're D-Generation X basically. We're gonna want to see that for the next few years, because we've been in the slums in the ghetto for that long that we're just going to expect it. And also on what Ellie said on fans being fickle. If you remember, a good friend of the pod, James Pearce, did his Liverpool fan survey for Athletic readers, and there were 2 things that came up in the results from the survey. One of them was, do you think of Liverpool as a financially stable, well-run club? 99.6% of voters said yes. So I just want to say, in terms of fickleness, the perception now that FSG out, all that bullshit that's research.
Yeah, they ain't got no money. They ain't got no money. So there we go then.
All that bullshit. And the other one was, let me just quickly find that. If Liverpool don't make a star signing this summer, I would. 53.1% feel disappointed, but I could see the logic. 42.5% completely understand the situation. And then the remainder, be angry and view it as a lack of ambition.
Joe, Joe was the remainder.
I voted that. That must have been me.
That is you.
That must have been me.
I want to defend Joe as well. Because I want to defend Joe and like other fans that have complained about this, because you need to understand, for the past 10, 15 years, we've been the bitch boys of the league pretty much when it comes to transfers. And whenever we want to go in for a big player, Chelsea have always taken them away for us, right? So we're now in a situation where we're arguably the best team in the world. Yeah, that should mean we get the cream of the crop if we want them. And if we're now getting to the stage again where we've set our hopes up of like, you know, we're the best team in the world, we're going to get whoever we want if we want them. We've got the best manager in the world as well. And then we're losing out on Werner. It's going to be irritating. So I completely get it.
Yeah, I get where he's coming from. Yeah,
definitely fair. Yeah.
But I still do think you need to apply some common sense to the situation, look at the financial situation, and also understand that nothing has been guaranteed in terms of money coming in from transfers. Until those players have left the club, that money's not coming into the club. So you can adjust your budget afterwards, but right now you can't adjust anything. You can only adjust it to what you know. And if you know that X amount of money's coming into the club and we're going to have to give rebates and stuff like that out, then you can't make that signing. And it's just unfortunate. It's really irritating. I really wanted Werner at the club. It's just literally, you couldn't have made it up if you tried. You just couldn't have made it up if you tried.
The best story writer in the whole entire world can't even write this. Can't even write this. So it's just one of those things, isn't it?
It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. I have hope. I'm not saying that we're going to sign someone amazing. I do have hope, though, and I'm quite a pessimist. I do have hope that once we get rid of a few players,
we'll sign someone.
Will come in.
But what sort of player could you see us signing?
I can see us doing
I don't want to say
Josh King.
This is being recorded audio and video-wise, and I don't need this being used against me. We can have private conversations where I leave you voice notes via iMessage, which can
he just went, do not attach any association to this to me whatsoever. I have nothing to do with idiocy. Just bless him.
Right.
And I think the thing about player values as well is who could tell you, I mean, I guess even the greatest of football minds, who could tell you what a player is worth at this current moment in time? Just given the market, given fluctuations. You know, it's like we said, 23 million or whatever it was for Dejan Lovren. Who could tell you what he's worth now?
I mean, I could.
A year left on his Connie, so not much.
Yeah.
She
Yeah, get a little cheeky 10.
I don't know. You ain't get anything. He's on 100k a week as well.
Yo, who's responsible for that?
Me, Ellis, the one and only.
Who gave him 100k?
Company man.
Oh, not me. I did it. That's not me.
must be your boy Michael Edwards, you know, like extraordinaire businessman.
Yeah. Bro, if Joe is such a wally, fam.
Yeah, I mean, if he signed the contract in 2017, then it was Michael Edwards.
It was Michael Edwards.
Yeah,
120k
a week.
Dejan Lovren.
Yeah,
that was wild.
Fair play, man.
Huh?
Yeah.
Fair play to him.
Anyway, next topic. Let's go.
he's cleaned up the beach in that, man. You got to give him his dues and stuff. Onto another outgoing, and you know, with the socials, I don't know why the socials have been buzzing about this man all day. They're defending him to the high heavens like he was someone's son. We're going to have a discussion. Is Xherdan Shaqiri actually good? And does he fit in with the style of play that Liverpool FC want to go? Joe's face is literally just told me all needs to have this conversation.
Shaqiri is a decent player, man, but like
Ellis, can he head the ball?
Nah, he can't right now. I think he went Turkey.
There you go.
Turkey, so it's a myth. Now, Shaqiri is a decent player. Like, obviously, we brought him in to be one of them substitute players that come in, take the weight off of the front three. For some reason, he can never stay fit. Sometimes he doesn't look committed. Sometimes the game just passes him by. His tenure at the club is summarised by the game versus Southampton last season. He had a blinding first half. He was absolutely unplayable, but then he got taken off at half-time. And that just summarises his tenure at Liverpool. He's nearly there, but he's not there. Even against Barcelona, that first half, he was shoddy. Absolutely shocking. For the whole game, he was shocking. But he had a few moments where he helped the team. He's a decent player. He's a good player, but he's not good enough to bet your house on him or
Not good enough to cry about.
yeah, exactly. He's not good enough to like cry about. No. If he left tomorrow, I'll be. Well, I was expecting him to leave. I was betting like 20 million for him quickly. Happy days.
I think we'll still get it.
Oh, well, hopefully.
Nah, I don't think we will.
You don't think we will?
You get more than 15 for him, I reckon.
We'll make a profit on him.
Oh,
Man.
we will make a profit. We will make a profit on him. Yeah, we'll make a profit on him.
How much did we get him for?
Balance the books
12
FC,
million.
baby. Woo.
Huh?
About 12 million, 13 million or something like that.
I mean, I won't even front. Like, I think he's a decent player, and I say that because he's one of those players where, in really really good moments, where he's got that quality where, if you need that final pass, that through ball, that whatever that is, he has that in him. He's really good technically, and he's good at set pieces. The only issue is the rest of his game doesn't allow him to be consistent enough at the level that we need him to be. And he, you have to understand that I think with Shaqiri, it's a hunger thing. I think he's won like good trophies with Bayern.
He's won the Champions League twice.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, okay, this is just another opportunity for me to, make some decent money, win another trophy or whatever that is. And I think that hunger and that desire isn't there. And there's some games where he it may look like he is up to it. But you have to understand is like outside of dropping deep and being that creative hub, he is pretty much limited. He's not going to outdo you for pace or whatever. I don't think he's really going to be good enough to play on the wing because you kind of
isn't good enough, man.
I mean, and that's essentially it. He's just not good enough to keep at that standard that you kind of need him to be at for Liverpool. So it's a shame he has the ability. It's a shame he's just not going to be what we need moving forward, because although he has the quality, the consistency and the levels just haven't matched up. And he's not rubbish by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't understand the attachment the fans have to him.
It's the United game.
The United game, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's like, this is that ruthlessness I'm talking about. Like, we need to develop as a club. I mean, how do you develop some sort of attachment to a guy we don't really see too often, and then to find out that he's out there going to Turkey to go get his hair plugs?
We don't know if it was Turkey. We
don't know.
We don't know.
Let me say allegedly he went out to go get hair plugs. I don't know. Shaqiri, if you're watching, this is what the streets are saying. I don't know.
He probably went to Belgravia.
Belgravia's in various parts of the UK. I mean,
God knows on Belgravia.
It is what it is. At this point, he's what he offers to Liverpool right now. I think we've moved up a level as far as what we need from guys who are second tier or second in line. We kind of need them to be on level with the guys who are starting as well, and match that level of production and match that level of intensity. And he doesn't bring that to the club, so it is what it is.
Would you say he's met your expectations for what you thought he'd do, or has he been disappointed?
I thought he would do a bit better. He's been a disappointment for me because of the talent level. Yeah, because of the talent level that he has, his left foot was like a 1. I thought he was gonna come in, obviously not be Mane Salah Bobby level of that consistent like performance every week, but at least the drop off in quality wouldn't be that much.
You wanted him to be dependable.
Yeah, I thought that you know what I'm saying? I thought you have enough in his game to like beat the likes of Sheffield United and Burnley and that. But I don't know, man.
I think it was
man.
I think it was a really shrewd signing at the time. I thought
it was. It was.
It seems like a good bit of business. I think Stoke just went down, so he thought, all right, okay, we'll come in, we'll get the guy. He just, I agree, he just hasn't lived up to expectation. But I think purely from a fan's point of view, he's just going to be remembered for those 2 goals against United and the cross in the semi-final.
Yeah.
But I think in summary, I don't think he's really lived up to the expectation.
That's the story of his career, though, isn't it? Really, hasn't lived up to the expectation.
He's always flattered to deceive.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like all the ability's always been there. He's just never been able to, for whatever reason it is, put it together. Because when he was younger, he had blistering pace. I remember watching him for a bar in the first few season to Bayern Munich, it was rapid. I don't know if he just spent too much on the fucking leg press machine or what.
Way too much time.
But
one too many protein shakes, mate.
Yeah, man.
He learned from you, Ellis.
Mate, yeah. Evidently.
This has been training him up too much. Too many leg days.
Yeah, we're one too many leg days.
It's just probably just hunger. I mean, he doesn't. It's not there. The drive and the hunger isn't there.
Yeah.
And I get it, and I understand. I might be the same way if I wasn't as driven. I've won the Champions League. I've done it before. I've been here before. I'm getting, what is it? What's he on? Like 80, 90 a week?
He's on like 80k a week.
I'm eating good. I'm living good. All I have to do is come on, put on a decent performance, and I'm good. So it's probably not there for him. We'll probably need to replace him as well. And I'm not quite sure whether we go into the academy to get someone or whether we go out and we need to go
Brewster.
someone.
Young Brewster's there, B.
No, Brewster's going back out on loan. Brewster's not going to make the team.
After the season. No, he's coming, B. Remember I told you, B. Word on the street. Word to God.
I think he's actually going to stay next season. I think he'll be with us.
Yeah, I think he'll stay next season.
Brewster, because he's done all right at Swansea as well. He's scored quite a few goals, and we literally just said, we want you to be part of the first team setup. The only reason we let him go out on loan was because he was coming back from injury and he needed game time, and he needed professional game time, not under 23 level game time. So that's why we said, all right, 6 months, you go to Swansea, sort yourself out, and then next season you're with us.
Don't go to Turkey.
From what you've seen from Brewster, do you think he can actually come in and actually be of a decent level?
Not to the level that I thought, in my opinion, not to the level that I thought he would, but again, I think sometimes players are boosted around the players they're playing with.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think he will pick up things from front three. And I think right now he's struggling to understand, or it's not even him struggling to understand. It's hard for us to understand where Klopp actually sees him playing. Is it actually as the centre forward? Or is it playing on wide?
Exactly.
Do you get what I mean?
Is he even quick enough to play wide? I don't.
Decent pace.
That PMP
before the injury, he was rapid.
Yeah.
But
he's like 20. He's 20. So that shouldn't change him. He's 20.
No, he had an Achilles injury. Come on, man.
Was an Achilles? All right. So Achilles, that's not.
Achilles.
So it's in that weird realm of where he's got to try and readjust his game to suit his body as well.
Don't expect him to leave next. Don't expect him to go out on loan again. I think he's staying with us.
Yeah.
We committed a lot to him for him to sign that deal in the first place.
A lot.
Yeah.
He was off.
And from everything you hear from him, from people at the club, say that he is he's a good player, and everyone high up has high expectations for him, and that's after the injury as well. So, and again, to say that we're going to give you first team opportunities when he could have gone to Borussia Mönchengladbach a few seasons ago.
Is he still contracted to Swansea? Is he still contracted?
He's gonna. He's gonna finish off the season.
Been extended, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Which is good, man. So, what do you think in terms of Shaqiri? Who do you think would come in to be that viable option if we went out to the market to get someone? Because you could say that his replacement would be Minamino, but
Dembos. If you could get Dembele from young Dembele, we were.
Dembles.
Here's my issue with Ellis, and I like Ellis. He's from a good family, good stead. He's a good guy. He's a good guy, but he's a crazy guy. I don't understand why you think. I don't understand why you're mentioning Dembele.
Why not?
Why? What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with Dembele?
Listen. That kid does not want to come.
How'd you know?
Bro, that kid does not want to come.
Bro,
you're thinking. Bro,
Dembele is one season away from ending up in McDonald's. I don't know why you wouldn't want to come.
Do you know what? I understand from what we know, he likes McDonald's, bro. I think he might be fine. He might be fine with it. It's like,
bro,
you're thinking from a normal person. Hold on, let me get my rocks off. I think you're thinking from a normal person where it's like, yo, Barcelona are really treating me like I'm just any random cheeseburger. Mm-hmm. They're saying I want him. They're basically pushing him out. And you would think, okay, I need to leave. this cat doesn't want to leave. I think he wants to stay and prove his worth at Barcelona. I think
Fam.
even if Barcelona say to him, yo, you're going to end up in McDonald's, like, we're going to give Ansu Fati more game time than you, he will still think that, yo, I can really get it done. The kid's not going to come. Bro, listen, they've literally said to him, his diet is absolutely poor. He eats McDonald's here, there, left, right, and everywhere.
Because he's not
He couldn't
motivated,
change for
fam.
Barcelona, the biggest club, quote unquote, quote, in the world. What makes you think he's going to turn around and do this and actually listen to Klopp or want to play
Fam,
football?
he will come. He will come.
Bro, forget about Dembele. Don't mention his name again.
You're
He
so
can't even
brubby,
stay-
bruv.
he can't
You
even
must be
stay
so
fit.
fun at parties, bruv.
Bro, he can't stay fit. He can't stay fit. We buy him 35 mil, another Andy Carroll can't stay fit.
But he can.
Bro, he can't stay fit, man.
I think we could. I think we do the thing where we loan him for a year and have the obligation to buy him.
That's just literally what we'll do. Literally.
But what's the incentive for him?
Prove that you can actually play football.
Oh, come on, bro. There is none. He's one of the rare players that I say he is actually, like, his talent is generational. The guy is ridiculous.
It's mad. He can use both feet.
Left foot, right foot.
I still don't know what foot is his more dominant foot. I still don't know.
He doesn't know.
Right? And I'm thinking, okay, that hunger and drive to be the world's best should be there. Okay? I don't see that. And I don't see that in him. I will never say with a kid from his background, it's an attitude problem. Well, that's what it is.
I don't think it is that anyway.
I think it's the hunger and the drive I think he's realized, okay, I've made the move from Dortmund to Barca. I've arrived. I've made it. This is like the highest level I can, and he's dropped off. And then as a result of that, his fitness has gone down. His diet's gone down. His fitness has gone down. He can't stay fit. Every day it's a hamstring tear. This is this and that. Where now he's 23, 22?
I think he's only 22, 23.
Young,
and
man.
what you don't want is a player who already has like a finished body at 22, 23. We bring him in and it's like, yo, because I don't like the injuries he's been getting in the succession. I think his body is done. So I don't want us to go and put together a £35 million risk on a player that is miles better than Sancho in my opinion, but his body can't live up to that because his body's shot down. He's basically, I see him as like Daniel Sturridge right now. That's the way I see it, and I don't know whether or not that's a good enough risk for us to take at 35 mil, whatever the price has been touted around. So I don't know. It's the floor is yours on this.
We'll see, man. We'll see. Obviously, that's just speculation. That's just up in the air, man. But we'll see. But we do still need to replace Shaqiri somehow.
Anyone else for any other players they'd like to see take the Shaqiri place, or anyone they'd like to see just come in? Just for a laugh. Anyone you can think of that would annoy Joe?
Who's that kid from Norwich?
Cantwell.
I'll take him. I like his ability. I like his stilo. I like it.
I like how he listens to Young Thug. That's always a good.
I'm not having Grealish though. No, like that doesn't make no.
I'll take
Get
him.
out.
I think Grealish is all right.
I'll take Grealish.
Grealish is sick, bro. Of course, Grealish is sick.
Grealish is
Don't
quality.
just shut up.
I'm not saying anything, Joe, but you know how I feel.
Harry Wilson and 10 0 for Grealish. Who says no?
Let's do it.
A player that also cut contention when he signed and still continues to have a bit of contention around him to this day is Mr. Jordan Bryan Henderson himself. It's 9 years to the day, as you can see from Fahi's background of him benching the premier prize in club football, possibly in world football, to be honest with you. It's such a prestigious competition that some clubs haven't won in this country. It's sad. It's disappointing to see. You hate to see it. We have 6 of them. That's you know what I mean. You could total them all together from all the clubs in England, and you still wouldn't reach the amount that we have. Henderson. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. So 9 years ago today, he signed for Liverpool Football Club. And you know what? Fair play to him. He's had some limitations himself as a player, injuries and whatnot. He's had to readapt his game to suit different system. And I think he's done quite well. You see how it is. Leader on the pitch, leader off the pitch. So I just want to see how you guys felt about Jordan Henderson, the man, Jordan Henderson, the player, Jordan Henderson, the dad, whatever. It's how you guys feel about Henderson to this day.
Do you want me to just break down season by season? Because I can literally just go for it if you really want.
Are you a Henderphile?
I mean, I was, and then I wasn't, but now I respect him again. But yeah, we can go through it. You know, David scores a couple of goals in the first 6 weeks of being at the club. Kane used to play him right and wide right to allow Gerrard and Charlie Adam to start together and play together.
The Charlie Adam era, man.
He was shifted on the right, but he featured heavily that season. Started the Cup final, League Cup against Cardiff. Started the FA Cup final against Chelsea as well. Overall, first season, it was all right. 2012, Brendan Rodgers comes. He's happy to move him on. Makes my man cry. You know, it's a bit peak, but you know, Hendo decides, you know, I want to stay. I'm gonna try and win my place back. So
he does
somehow
he does what Joe thinks Dembele can't do. Fight for his place.
I mean, it's arguable. Well, we've not seen it yet from Dembele, but we'll see. But yeah, like, you know, he made a similar amount of appearances that season. Scored more goals as well. Helped the style of football, was more free flowing as well, so that helped. And plus, Coutinho and Sturridge came in January, so that helped him too. And then obviously you had the stellar season, 13-14. Rodgers decided to move Gerrard to a sitting position and made Henderson the engine of that midfield. He flourished in the midfield. 3 had Sturridge, Suarez, Sterling, Coutinho. That also helped him, obviously. The reason we lost that title that season isn't because of the slip. It's because of Hendo. It's the fact that he was banned for the Chelsea game, all thanks to Victor Moses' shit pass against Man City. Let's not forget. 14-15, obviously, it showed how confident Hendo was because of the 13-14 season, and then he was rightly given the vice captaincy at the time. Obviously, Rodgers knew at the time that Gerrard was going to be leaving as well, so it made sense to kind of birth Hendo in slowly for that captaincy role. The highlight of the season wasn't too much. He scored more goals from what I remember. I remember the goal against City, the curler, nice goal, and he stood up to Diego Costa. You know, it's a meme to this day. So that was 14-15. But then it did end on a bad note. The FA Cup semi-final against Villa. He got bossed by Delph and Jack Grealish, age 17 at the time.
Well, how time flies.
Yeah, time does fly. Then you get to 2015-2016, first season as captain. It was basically a write-off because he was injured for half the season. But you could see a bit more vim in him. Like, you could see a bit more character. Like, he was trying to be aggressive and vocal on the pitch. And, you know, we did call him out because it did seem a bit forced. But it takes time. Like, you're trying to take over the mantle from Steven Gerrard, like one of the greatest captains the club has ever had. It's a tough place to fill. So it took him a bit of time. And then 16-17, obviously, Klopp came in October, moved him into the DM role. And then that's kind of when I started falling out of love with Hendo. I didn't like the way he was used. I could understand it because obviously he had the ankle injury and it would kind of mean that he wouldn't be able to be the all-action Hendo that we kind of loved before. But I wasn't a fan of the way he was being utilised. I didn't really like the way he was told to move the ball. I didn't like the way he was, you know, staying back. He wasn't trying to attack the final third, which I actually thought was a strong point of his. So that's when I started falling out of love with him. 17-18, you know, it was a good season for him. He was largely injury-free. We got to the Champions League final. We debated his position every single week. I think between us, we all would have debated his position. I know Ellis was defending Hendo non-stop on the timeline.
That was the height of the Emre Can, Jordan Henderson debate.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And I personally think the reason it was being debated all the time was because we as like Liverpool fans were used to seeing his energy all over the pitch, and the more conservative approach was really irritating us. And ultimately, it wasn't his fault because he was only following the instructions given to him.
Literally.
Yeah, but we knew he could do more in midfield because we'd seen him do it, and he wasn't allowed to show it. So it was really irritating to watch. 2018-2019 is kind of what kind of has completely changed Hendo's legacy, in my opinion. Fabinho obviously came in, but it took him time to settle. First half of the season, Hendo continued in midfield with Wijnaldum and Milner. And then the moment Fabinho was ready to start regularly, the question marks started over Hendo and Milner. Both of them would be benched every so often. And you're like, ooh, who's going to actually drop out? And then it got to a stage where Hendo was benched for like a couple of 2-3 games in a row. And it was a bit of a weird one. And then he obviously asked Klopp to go back to his box-to-box position. He knew he was never going to be picked ahead of Fabinho. So it made sense to kind of try and change his role. And it did work out perfectly. Like, you know, I personally get emotional watching him hug Klopp during the Champions League final after we won it.
Yeah,
Like,
full circle,
think
innit?
about where he was in 2012, 2013, where he got to the point where he was about to be shifted out to Fulham for Clint Dempsey. And look at where he ended up getting to, winning like the most prestigious cup in club football. He knew he wasn't the captain that a lot of LFC fans wanted. Like, it was pretty obvious a lot of fans didn't want him to be captain, but, you know, he kept at it and ultimately it worked out. This season he's been faultless, apart from a couple of games. I think Salzburg and United away, he was quite poor. But in general, he's been one of the key reasons we've been as successful as we've been. And ultimately, he deserves to lift the title. So he's going to be the second British captain after Rio Ferdinand to lift the Champions League and Prem. So, you know, big up Jordan Bryan Henderson, 359 games. What is it, 4 trophies now? 3 as captain. And then you got another one to come. He deserves his plaudits.
He deserves his flowers, man. I mean, I think the leadership stuff still says, I mean, more than anything. It's like you said, it seemed forced at the beginning, but you look at it now, and I think one of the interesting things is going to be how, with no crowd noise and stuff at these games, you're going to see how much he actually bollocks people and how aggressive he is in doing it as well.
Yeah, 100%. And again, like, he's one of those players where he is like Marmite, but I really do think the Marmite comes from the way he was used by Klopp. I honestly think that was half the problem here.
Yeah.
We liked him as a box-to-box midfielder. We did not like him as a DM.
Well, not the right back. Remember when he was utilised as a right back? I think he's been utilised everywhere, and I think that's where it comes from. I mean, Henderson deserves everything that's coming his way. I think you're all very clear on how I think about the evil that Rodgers has done, and I think you know, him almost being sold to Fulham is probably like the lowest point for him, and the way he's taken it on and he's improved himself and invented himself. I think the reason why I like Henderson is because everybody else hates him, as in other fans hate him and cannot stand him, and hate again any sort of plaudits. They just don't understand. They think he's just rubbish, and that's where it is. But we understand and appreciate the energy he brings, and he's actually pretty good technically as well. I think because he moves a certain way, plays a certain way, they don't really appreciate that. But you have to understand, over the last how many arcs since when did he come in? Did he come in under
Kenny?
Was that Dalglish?
Yeah. So it'd be
so from the Dalglish arc to Rodgers to Klopp. The guy, as in, he's invented himself, and he's been part of our system, as in he's managed to reinvent himself to be an integral part of each of those systems. So it's like it takes away from the fact that he's an intelligent player, first and foremost. Outside of his ability to be there, to be available when you need him, he's a very intelligent player to be able to cover those positions he's played in and to be able to cover those systems he's played in. And I think that's where the appreciation comes from with a lot of LFC fans. I think obviously we are sometimes frustrated because we know he can do better, and those performances, when we sometimes probably need more from him, we don't get it. But I think you have to understand that this guy is. If you remember, everyone was talking about Wilshere. Everyone was talking about all these other players that Anderson came along with, and he's outlasted all of them.
Yep.
And he's actually probably been more successful than all of them. And that's just testament.
Probably he has been.
He has, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure some will find an argument there, but that's fine. That's true. But you have to remember, this guy is an intelligent player first before he's an amazing athlete as far as athletic ability. And I think the way he's reinvented himself and the way he has proved himself, and now he is adored by the Liverpool fans. It's just testament to his character. I think any bits or any issues I had with him went probably before last season, way before last season actually. I just kind of just accepted him for who, you know, for the player he is and what he brings to the club, the passion and energy, and how he's always keeping those standards up. So as far as Jordan Henderson, if people wanted to even argue that he is LFC's best ever, Liverpool's best ever captain, I won't even argue. I won't, like, you can have it, you can do whatever. He's gone from the bottom, he's taken us to the top. And I think it's kudos to him. And I think it'll be more than fitting for him to raise that Premier League trophy just to disgust the fans even more. I hope he wins the Player of the Year. I think if that happens, the amount of grade A abuse of certain substances will go literally sky high, because he will absolutely have just proved everybody wrong as far as the kind of player he is. And kudos to him. Nothing
and
else.
also I just want to add the point of, you know, like, okay, he may not be the prettiest player with the ball, yeah, but there's a lot more. Again, I have this argument with Milner all the time. There's a lot more that comes to a player than just his ability with the ball. There's a lot of what he does in the dressing room, yeah. Henderson is clearly a great captain. Everyone praises him for a reason. We see the amount of work he does with the youth team, with the community, even with the NHS staff, giving them money and all that stuff, the donations and getting players to chip in. Like, he does all the right things for the club, and ultimately he needs to be celebrated for that. Yes, he's had some shocking performances in his time, but who hasn't? Everyone has. Yeah. So you just got to big him up. 100%, you got to big him up. And he's got us to the point for us to win the league title. Like, we've waited our whole lives for this. What more do you want?
Yeah. I think he's had, you know, I think he came in, you know, 2011. Yeah, 2011. And he's had, you know, 3-4 teams around him, come and gone. Managers as well, come and gone. And he's stuck there. He's persevered with the team. He's had real bad lows. I think you alluded to it, Far. You know, he lost the FA Cup final, came so close in the 13-14 season, 16.
He's lost 4 finals.
Exactly. But then, you know, he was there for the highs as well. So obviously the Champions League, you know, we're really close to the league. And I think what Joe said is that, you know, we're going to prove everyone wrong. I think he's already proved everyone wrong, but no one else wants to believe it. Is that he's a great captain for us. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And you know what he's done for us. You know, you got to have hats off to him, especially off the pitch as well. It's just fantastic.
El, any final words from you on Henderson?
No, man. Everyone said everything. I think like Fahy said, I was a staunch defender of Henderson. That's just because I thought he was getting, like, it was a bit over the top. The bollocking was a bit over the top. Like, we lose again, yes, because of Hendo. Like, all right. Like, there was nothing tangible to it. It was just like, yeah, Hendo. And like Fahy said, him playing that number 6 role for Klopp, obviously that wasn't his best position, but he just had to do a job there. And that's just the story of Hendo's Liverpool career. Like, he does a job when the job needs to be done. Again, he's not the best footballer we've ever seen. He's a decent footballer, a good athlete, but he does what needs to be done. And I think his leadership qualities is what helps Liverpool a lot in and around the dressing room, on the pitch. I think I saw an interview with Genie, and Genie said he was up there with one of the best captains that he's had. And just because he just shouts a lot. And Genie said it was annoying, but he was drumming the message into everyone to, like, you can't let your standards drop. And that's why we are where we are, because standards haven't been dropped for like the last 2.5 years. So big kudos. He's done. He deserves everything that comes his way, man. Obviously, like, he's had games where we thought, wow, but this guy is not playing well. What footballer doesn't? But he knows within himself he's not going to be Steven Gerrard. He's not going to.
We've been spoiled, man. We've been spoiled with Gerrard.
We have with Gerrard because we saw Gerrard do so many mad stuff. So we expect every centre midfielder who's English to be as good as Gerrard. It's not possible. Like, everyone's different. Everyone has different attributes. Everyone has different ways of influencing their games. So yeah, big kudos to him. Like he's done well in the 9 years. Like, yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, I think we have definitely been. For those who not watch on YouTube, everyone's giving him giving Henson a good round of applause.
YouTube, watch on YouTube.
But yeah, definitely watch on YouTube.
And listen on Spotify and Apple.
Yeah, the Patreon page will be coming soon, so keep coming with those donations. Gifts, more gifts. Anyone for anything else before we sign off?
I just wanted to quickly promote the Touchline Fracas Discord server. There is a server that started last week, and it has all the club servers in there. So you've got Kop End, you've got Mugger, you've got Touchy Gooners, you've got Chessy Hour, and you've got a general chat as well. So I really think if you guys want to chat football and you don't want to do it on the timeline, you don't want to do it on Twitter, join the Discord server. We will include the link with the tweet tomorrow morning. And yeah, join and start debating with us. We're all on there, and we will be soon.
Yeah, so if you want to talk Henderson with El, you want to do conspiracy theories with Joe, you want to talk fashion with Fahi, you want to talk about Annex Garden, you want to talk about my ponytail, you can do it all in the Discord server, man. You can do it all. There's just so many reasons to join. So, like Fahi said, we'll be popping that link under the tweet when it goes live. When this when you finish this podcast. So what perfect timing. Boys, I want to thank you so much again for joining me this week for yet another great episode of Kop End Fracas. Hopefully we'll find some more money next week to keep the podcast going, like LFC with the transfers.
We're gonna have to set up an OnlyFans at this point. just to get one off the door, we're gonna have to set up an OnlyFans.
Of course he wants to, Joel. Of course he does.
Who, me?
Of course you do. Nasty man.
Then it really would be Kop End Fracas, wouldn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, make sure you edit that out. Make sure you edit that out.
Do you want to push this OnlyFans account or not, man? This is what the people...
Oh, man.
But yeah, as Fahi said, be sure to subscribe to the Discord channel. I'm going to drop the link to this underneath the tweet. Of course, be sure to subscribe to Touchline Fracas so you can get the best content for the top 4 clubs: Chessy Hour, Touchy Gooners.
You're getting 5 to 6 podcasts a week, man.
You're getting so much content, man. I mean, think about all the stuff that Touchline have been dropping. Ourselves with the exclusive interviews with world-renowned journalists. You've got the Mugger one from yesterday with Rants and Bants, which was really entertaining.
Yeah, you had Touchy Gooner, you had Touchline with Ed Aarons as well.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you not want to subscribe on YouTube / Touchline Fracas, and of course on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, not Apple Music, Touchline Fracas. So yeah, man, come and get all your content from us. I mean, you might have an athletics subscription, but we're better. So is what it is. But again, of course, on the timeline, get involved with the bants using the hashtag Touchline Fracas, and of course at us at Kop End Fracas.
Basically, you can communicate in any way you want, man. Literally, we're everywhere. We are everywhere. You will see us all over the place.
We are like CCTV in London. We are everywhere. If you want to talk, again, man, you want to talk about anything, we're always here. You know what I mean? And of course, we'll be back next week, with actual games to talk about, hopefully, from Bundesliga. Bundesliga, and we can actually preview the Merseyside derby.
Amazing.
With no form whatsoever for the past 4 months, we're going to preview a game.
I'm going to watch, LFC do the inside training videos.
Oh, yeah.
We'll analyse that.
We'll analyse the training video. Again, we've got video now, so we can do tactical analysis. You know what I mean? The possibilities are endless. But again, thank you so much for listening to Touchline Kop End Fracas on the Touchline Fracas Network this week. We'll be back next week with a fresh episode. So until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll see you then.
Peace.